Welcome to the beBetter podcast with Infinity Real Estate Services. True stories from Bakersfield's business owners and entrepreneurs. We have sold over 50,000 homes in the Kern County area, and we are still going. Delete your limiting beliefs. If you have a dream, turn it into a goal. Only massive, inspired action will get you to where you want to be. If you're starting a business or looking to grow one, you're in the right spot. Welcome to the beBetter experience.
Hi, I am Jennifer Mathews with Infinity Real Estate Services, and I am here with the awesome Staci Carrington, and she is with First. Thank you. It's moving. She's with First Priority Escrow, and she's our in-house escrow gal. She's amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think you're amazing. Just I want you to introduce yourself. Tell me how long you've been doing this.
Well, long story, but I did escrow for about 12 years. I lived in Orange County. And I worked for United Title back then, so I was for a title company for 12 years as escrow. Then I had my daughter, and I stayed at home for 6 years, didn't work. And then I did property management for 9 years.
Okay.
And then I was just not feeling that so much anymore, and Lee Barrison, our broker here at Infinity, hired me and said, come do escrow. So I kind of just got thrown back into it about 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
It's like a learning lesson all over again, but
yeah.
You know.
Well, it's great. You have real estate in your background. So
right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it helps a lot. The property management part helps a lot also when people are buying multi-units and stuff like that. I have a better understanding of that also, so I can help people with leases and all kinds of stuff also. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you do escrow. So can you explain to the audience, what is escrow for?
We are a neutral third party between everybody in the transaction, with the lenders, the buyers, the sellers. We just make sure that we take the earnest money deposits. We are just basically the paper pushers in the middle of everything.
Okay.
So you guys would come to us for everything.
Yeah, I know when I'm in a transaction, no one knows what escrow is. Like it's like they do secret stuff. We don't know what they do.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about what your side does, but not like, I've not been in escrow, so I don't know as much as you.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause there's a lot of work that no one sees you do. We just see the result, like, we're still going smoothly in our transaction. It's because of you, really. I mean, well, you've got to make sure when a sale is going on, you got to make sure that the title is clear. Can you?
Correct.
Okay, I don't know if I put that in here as a question.
Did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically what happens is you, as an agent, open escrow. When we get the purchase contract, we open title with the title company, the third-party title company. We usually use Chicago Title, Tycor, Placer, whatever's available locally, or whatever you prefer to use. They are the ones that do the title searches and provide us with the preliminary title report. So from there, for me, and I tell all the agents that a preliminary title report's like the Bible. It tells you everything in the house. It has the easements, it has the liens, it has deeds of trust, it has everything on it. So basically, with your purchase contract and that preliminary title report, I type escrow instructions and send it out that way.
Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is there anything on the prelim that you've ever seen like weird or wonky?
Yeah. Every escrow is completely different. Yeah. There's some weird.
Yeah. Can you share with us like a weird?
There's a lot of them. We have a lot of abatements. People don't take care of their properties. There's trash on the properties, and the city will come out and fine you and put a lien against the property.
Oh, so that shows up in the prelim. Oh,
I just did an escrow that had 5 mortgages because he was not paying his mortgage, so he would go get a HUD loan, and so he ended up having 5. So I had to get payoff statements for each one of those. It's kind of like a forgiveness thing through HUD. Yeah.
Okay.
There's all kinds of weird stuff. there's, on their taxes, a lot of people get those hero loans, which only shows up in your taxes and is collected yearly in your taxes. But it's for if you want to upgrade your solar panels or if you want to do your air conditioning, they will put that on into your taxes. So there's all kinds of things. Everything's different.
Yeah.
We have really easy escrows that have like one mortgage and done, closed.
Yes.
And then they have ones that take months because there's so much stuff.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What's your longest escrow?
Probably 90 days.
Oh, okay.
Which isn't too bad.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's not bad. I think mine is like about 60 days.
60, 90 days. Yeah, it just depends on the process and what,
Yeah.
When we do the process through escrow, we do statements of information with escrow instructions. And it's really important to have your clients sign those and fill them out completely, because we have sellers that'll complete those, and then I turn them into title and they run them complete, and they have child support liens and they have EDD liens against them, and they're all attached to the property. So that doesn't show up necessarily on the preliminary title report, but the statement of information is a lot.
Yes.
So sometimes it's like a lot of obstacles in an
Yeah,
escrow.
and that is a seller fills that form out.
Seller and buyers, yeah. They don't typically run a buyer because the buyer's buying the property.
Yeah.
So if they do have a child support lien, it doesn't really matter at that time,
Okay.
But the sellers, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times things pop up and they get mad.
Yes.
It's like, it's not my fault.
You're just following protocol.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you did mention this. Who opens escrow?
Well, if you have a TC like here in Infinity, you guys use Vanessa. And so Vanessa will open it up and send a big email like, congratulations, here's a new escrow. So it just depends. Some agents do it themselves. Yeah. And some have their TCs open.
Yeah. We typically ask, I know we'll ask, like if I have a buyer or seller, I ask, do you know anyone who you'd recommend for escrow? And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. They're just like, well, whoever you recommend. So
there's a lot of people that do a lot of, own a lot of properties and have done a lot of stuff with specific title companies or escrow companies. So that comes along a lot.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Okay. So tell me, what do you do like on a day-to-day basis as an escrow officer?
It's just like the start of the file, you have to go through them. You have to follow up on demands. Sometimes when you order demands, it takes 3 to 5 business days. So we calendar it.
So what is a demand? Is that?
That's a payoff statement.
Okay.
For either their mortgage so we just have to constantly follow up and keep everything calendared to where, okay, I ordered that 3 days ago. Let's call on it since we don't have it. Or it's just a repetitive thing. And we have lenders that constantly reach out to us and want estimates, and they need specific docs to get to the point where they get loan approval. So we are constantly emailing with everybody. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then do you order any like inspections, anything like that for the property?
No, we don't we don't order inspections. That's lender appraisal, stuff like that's the lender. We do pay for those if they aren't paid up front. Usually buyers pay for them up front, but if they don't, like termite work, termite clearances, stuff like that, they will submit those invoices to us, which we will pay out at the close of escrow. But no, we don't typically order or see any of that.
Oh yeah.
Like repairs or anything, we don't have anything to do with. We just are, here's the invoice.
Yeah.
Kind of like a bookkeeper.
Yeah. That's a sticky situation. So you already have your own sticky situation sometimes anyway. So we don't want to make your job harder. Okay. So if I am a seller and you are the escrow officer doing the transaction, what does that look like for me? So am I going to get a bunch of paperwork at the end, or is it going to be at the beginning? What does that look like?
So when you open escrow and then we get the prelim, we get the earnest money deposit from the buyer, we then type our escrow packages. So you will get escrow instructions, which basically mimic your purchase contract.
Okay.
And then you have your statement information, you have your grant deeds. So sellers packages are really important in the beginning because it gives all the pertinent information as far as like their payoff statements, who they, their mortgages are with, statement of information, obviously the grant deed. So we will have one big package for the seller in the beginning, and they meet with a notary and they notarize that.
Now, does that happen about would you say it's like within the week?
Within the week,
first they're in escrow?
It just depends on where the property is. Locally and here in Bakersfield, we get the prelim within a day or two. But we do LA ones sometimes, or Lancaster, or a different area, and those sometimes take a week to get the prelim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I can usually type escrow instructions without the prelim, but I like to have it because when I send the buyer's package out, the buyer has to approve that prelim. They have to approve the easements. They have to approve the legal description, the plat map. They have to approve all of that in order to move forward.
Okay, so I'm a seller, so I got my first, say I'm local, I got my first package within the week of opening escrow. Will I get another package at the end?
No, we
Okay.
just go through, that's where our process with the seller goes. We get the seller's package back. We order all your payoff statements. We do whatever needs to be done as far as the seller goes, but then pretty much from there on, it's the buyer's part. So we deal with the lender and we give them all their paperwork ahead of time. Usually buyer's packages in the beginning we send through DocuSign. They don't have to physically go meet anybody yet.
Okay.
So sellers, they don't really do anything mid-escrow, but when we get closer to the end, we do send out closing statements for them to approve. We send it DocuSign if they want to, or if they want to come in, doesn't matter. But no, I mean, they
Okay.
pretty much just do their initial package and they just kind of sit and
Okay.
go back and forth with repairs with you guys.
Now, if as a seller, if I'm going out of town, going on 2 weeks vacation, do you need to know that ahead of time for me? Ideally?
No.
No? Okay.
No, because the initial seller's package also has a disbursement authorization on there. So they would tell me wire my proceeds or do whatever. And hopefully if they do go out of town, they can DocuSign that closing statement
Okay.
so I can close. Yeah.
Okay. So they'll have that ahead of time just to kind of go
It's
through
all
it.
part of the seller's
Yeah.
package in the initial.
And they'll, so that statement, their like net sheet, I call it a net sheet.
Net sheet, yeah.
Yeah, their net sheet. Will they get another net sheet at the end? Because sometimes things change. Like
Right.
there's
It's pretty accurate when we get to that point because we
Okay.
have the buyer's loan docs. So all the fees are in. I usually send it to to the agents first saying, hey, want to review this before I send it to your seller. So it's pretty accurate.
okay.
The only thing, so say we go to close and maybe it's 3 or 4 days later or earlier, who knows? The prorations will obviously change with
Yes.
the taxes and whatever, if there's rents so that's the only thing that would really change.
Okay.
But at the end, yes, they do get a final closing statement.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then, so now if I'm a buyer, what does that process look like for me, through escrow?
Right. Basically the same thing. They get their initial buyer's package, which has the preliminary title report, and they have to approve that, and just the
Okay.
basic forms that they fill out. Those don't have to be signed in front of a notary or anything like that. So typically they like us to DocuSign them.
Okay.
Some people don't have emails, which is more common than not. Shockingly,
Yeah.
people are like, I don't have an email. I'm like, who does not have an email?
Yeah.
But they can come in and sign with me also.
Okay.
And then when they get that package back, it's just the lenders in communication with me, and then I send lenders, their signed escrow instructions and whatever the lender needs on my part to get loan approval.
Okay. And would you say that's about like the first week of escrow for a buyer too? Okay.
Yes, same
Okay.
thing. As soon as I get that seller's package, the buyer gets their package as well.
Okay.
So I type it all at once, and I just
Disperse it. Okay.
Correct.
And then and then at the towards the end of closing, am I going to need to go in and sign anything like loan docs or?
Yeah, depending if it's an all cash deal, no. I obviously would send you a closing statement so you can see what kind of money you need to bring in to close. If you do a loan, yes, you would meet with the notary to sign all your loan docs. You get your estimate as well, or your net sheet. You get wiring instructions so you can wire us the proceeds. And as soon as we get all of that, then we get to the part where we close. But yes, at the end, the
Okay.
buyers are the ones that close at the end.
Okay.
Or sign at the end, I'm sorry.
And then at the signing, when we schedule the signing, about how long does that process take?
As soon as
about
we
an
get loan
hour?
docs, it just depends on when the
Okay.
buyer's available. I have buyers who are like, oh, we're busy till tomorrow. And I'm like, we're trying to close. But then I have other
Yeah.
buyers who are like, I'll be there in 30 minutes. So we have notaries available anytime, anywhere.
Okay.
Even all over the states.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So if we have
that's-
out-of-state buyers, we can send it to a notary of wherever they are, and they send them right back to us overnight usually.
Okay. That's super convenient. Yeah. That's
The problem
amazing.
with out-of-state buyers and loan docs, though, is that lenders need copies of those loan docs, and we need the original deed of trust. So if they're out of state and we're waiting for it to come UPS, it could delay it a couple days because they're not here locally. But
Yeah.
other than that, yeah, we have access.
Okay. Okay. That's awesome. Let me see. I think that might pretty much wrap it up. I think you answered all my questions that I had.
And just the end part, though, when we do get the loan docs, we have to package them. We have to scan them back to the lender. We send the recording docs to title. And then when we get the buyer's funds and the lender's ready to go, they fund the loan.
So that process is like over a couple of days, correct?
Yeah. So the buyers are more on the end and the sellers are more in the beginning.
Yeah. So how long does it take for a buyer to get their funds? Like who lets them know like, hey, it's time to fund?
The loan docs go back to the lender. The lender reviews those signed loan docs and they say, hey, we're missing this from the agent or we're missing this from the buyer or seller. Sometimes they have, if it's an FHA loan or FHA loan docs, they require the seller to sign a couple things and also the agents. So as long as we have all that, they review it and they say, hey, this is what we need. Or they say, we have everything, let's go. And they fund the loan and the money goes to title. And then title records everything and disperses it all. And then they disperse to me and I disperse out.
Okay.
It's just like a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you so much. Okay. I forgot one more thing. What can you tell me about the wiring instructions? How does that work?
Right now, there's a lot of wire fraud. So basically what they want us to do is I have wiring instructions for our trust accounts. So I will provide those to the buyer when they sign their loan docs, and they will just take those to the bank and their bank will wire it. The bank always calls us to confirm.
Okay.
And then it just goes right to my bank.
Okay. And then
It's
what
pretty
about
simple.
what about the seller?
The seller, they just give, like that disbursement form I was talking about, they fill that out and I just call to verify with their bank and they say yes, and I go into my bank and I wire it out through my bank into their bank.
Okay.
This is a lot of bank transfers.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of behind the scenes, really, because they don't really see all that.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's a lot, and people get mad at us and like, it's escrow's fault. And I'm like, no, it's not escrow's fault. You know what I mean? The wire didn't get there in time, because if you don't wire by a certain time that day, you're going to wait 24 hours for it to get, to your bank. So people, they always say it's us.
Yeah. And the wired is not like a normal, like 9 to 5 kind of thing. It's a really short period of time.
I think 2 o'clock is the cutoff time. So if you don't hit that wire by 2 o'clock, then you have to wait till the next day to hit.
Yeah, which is it's frustrating.
Yeah,
I
and everybody wants to leave or close, and it's kind of out of our hands.
Yeah,
but
it's just part of the process.
Yeah, and sometimes we have slow lenders too, that when you get the loan docs back, they take their time reviewing them. Like 3 to 4 days to fund it, and everybody's getting mad and make them do it, and you just can't. You know what I mean? It's just everybody's different. Every deal is different. Every property is different.
Yes.
So it's just
same thing on the real estate side of things. There's no two transactions alike. Everything is different.
Nothing is alike.
Which keeps us on our toes, which is great because we never get bored.
Keeps it interesting.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, we're not doing like redundant things, even though from the outside it seems like it's pretty redundant and easy, but there's a lot more to it. So, all right. Well, thank you, Staci.
You're welcome. Thank you
much
for getting me out of my comfort zone.
Yes, this is her first podcast
This is not my
ever.
favorite thing to do.
You did amazing.
Thank you.
And you
Thank you.
are an amazing escrow officer.
Thank you. I
love
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love working with you.
Oh, I appreciate it. You're pretty awesome too.
Yeah.
Even though our first deal was a little
bit
crazy.
It was very
We
stressful.
made it happen.
And you were amazing. So
Thank you. Thank you.
It was great. So, all right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. If you have any questions, Staci, how do people get in contact with you?
They can contact the Infinity office. We're inside here, and our phone number is 661-615-2611. I'm there all the time. You can email me as well. I check my emails all the time as well.
Yeah. So, all right. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.